Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome back to my channel with a whole update for you. If you don't know who I am, my name is Dawnheels, and if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I am an absolute fibroid advocate after going through the battle with fibroids for over 6 years. And I now help to amplify the voices of women and also to educate people on this condition. I had to check when my last video was, and I cannot believe it was a year ago. I literally thought it was a few months. But you'll see from the title, I now have a baby girl. I do. The last video I did was a 5-month update after my open myomectomy, just to let you guys know how I was. Little did I know, after month 6, within month 7, I would find out that I was pregnant. So how amazing is that? I feel truly blessed and highly favored. I'm just over the moon. Like, sometimes I still can't believe that this has happened, but I prayed for this. Trust and believe I prayed for this, and what a miracle. So in case you haven't seen my videos on fibroids, I had 16 removed at the top of 2022, and the biggest fibroid was the size of a grapefruit. So I will link the 2 videos below, because for those of you who've been following me, you would know the story already, and for those of you who do not, have a look. I go into a lot of detail. So just to go back a bit, I had my operation and it took me about 8 solid weeks to really recover from that. And my whole goal of having my fibroids removed was to feel great in health. So to feel really, really good about myself again. And then secondly was to have a baby. That's what was missing in my life. So my consultant had advised us that after about 3 months of recovering from the operation, we could start trying. And one thing I will say to people is that it's all very well somebody saying to you that you can do whatever, you can start trying after this month, whatever, but I would always say, listen to your body. We actually thought, you know what? I had been through enough. We had this conversation and we're just like, I had been through a lot. The operation itself is a massive abdominal operation. And we just wanted a little bit of time to chill, just to enjoy ourselves. So 3 months had gone by. And if we think about it, so I had it in January, February was my birthday. So February was my 39th birthday. Then we had March, we had April, we had May. So May, we decided to go on holiday, just to have a really nice blowout, enjoy ourselves. A lot had gone on in the year, holiday. So if people ask me about falling pregnant and whatnot, and what do you think did it for me, I truly believe that holiday 100% helped, because I was taking time out of work, I was taking time out of, I guess, the whole recovery situation, and I was able to really de-stress. And that holiday, we just had a ball. It was amazing. So when we came back, we found ourselves to be rested, and we just said, should it happen, should it be God's will, then we'll fall pregnant. I will be pregnant, right? So that was the May we came back. And in June, I went up to my consultant for the kind of 6-month checkup. So another thing I would say to you in this process is that there can be consultants that will kind of say, okay, you've had the open myomectomy, off you go. And you really need to have a checkup. And I would advise that if you haven't had one kind of at the 3-month mark, or if you have, definitely go back at the 6-month mark, just to ensure everything is correct. So at the 6-month mark, I went in, I had a checkup, he had a look at my scar to see if it had all healed properly. He asked me how I was, and we did have a conversation about falling pregnant. So his whole thing was that if I was trying, he would ideally want me to fall pregnant before my 40th birthday, because if we'd been trying for that long, so essentially, I don't want to say a year, because of course you've got to deduct 3 months, but let's say a year from the operation, if things aren't happening, then he would want to look down the fertility route, just because of my age at the time. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I didn't want that whole age factor and time limit set by the consultant to be something that I was then stressing about, because if you really think about fibroids, and I've spoken about it on my Instagram page that stress is a major factor that aids growth in fibroids. So we have to really manage the stress. So I didn't want to come out of this whole operation and then think, oh my goodness, I have to now stress about when am I going to fall pregnant. I really was on a let go, let God type flex. Little did I know that within that consultation, I was already pregnant and I didn't know. So they don't do any kind of like scanning or anything like that unless I guess there was a reason to do so. So it literally is a conversation just to go over how you're feeling, how the scar is, have a look. If I've got any questions, maybe I had some questions on the operation, all of that good stuff, handshake, goodbye. That's the whole point of the consultation. So I remember in July, at the top of July, it was my brother's birthday. We had all gone out as a big family. And I distinctly remember my dad buying shots of Mount Gay. And he was literally the other side of the restaurant and I could smell that rum. And that was when I thought, hold on a second. This is weird. Like, why can I smell this rum so distinctly? My boobs at the time, they were also very sore, but I was due on my period. So I just thought, you know, it's doing a madness because my period was coming on. My dates for when I should have come on my period came and went. And I was like, is this the time kind of thing? Is it the time? Is this happening? But it's weird because you've been so disappointed in the past that even when you're presenting, I guess, early signs of pregnancy, because I've been there, but it was all fibroid related, my brain just didn't want to kind of accept that perhaps it was. And there was a day that we were going to do a radio show, myself and my partner. And I said to myself, had my period not come by that date, I will take a test. And I did the test and it was positive. And that day was so amazing. So for a timeline, for anybody who wants to know, I had the open myomectomy at the start of January, like right at the start. I then fell pregnant, what would have been the June. I found out in the July. So that was my timeline of pregnancy. I want to just really briefly talk about having an open myomectomy quite close to falling pregnant and being pregnant with a baby. So I don't want to talk too much about my pregnancy overall. I may sort of save that for another video, but I think in terms of having the open myomectomy, the scar, and it's still healing essentially, and being pregnant, I will tell you, it wasn't a joke. It was something that was quite painful because when the baby had grown to a stage where she could kick and things like that, if she was ever kicking down there, oh my goodness gracious me, it was so painful. And also if she was ever lying sort of transverse, so across the belly like that, so, and she's like almost like behind the scar, right, it was just awful. And I remember days where I would just be in so much pain. Of course, when you're pregnant, there isn't anything you can take or anything like that, so I'd be kind of like just trying to like move her out of position sometimes because it was so painful. So that's something that I don't think is really talked about. Like if you happen to fall pregnant quite quickly after an open myomectomy, which is fantastic obviously because it's the thing we've wanted for those of us that have wanted to go down the pregnancy journey, but it does present some pain. There's nothing you can really do about it apart from sort of self-manage it with little massages or trying to move the baby out of the way, like, oh, you know, trying to coax her, come on over this way kind of thing. So so yeah, that was one thing that was very painful during my pregnancy. And something to just let other women know as well is that I was under the care of a specialist gynecologist as well as my midwives as well, who she was fantastic. In my time of going through gynecological care, she is one of very few people who sit down and understood me, wanted to listen to my story, what I'd been through, because this all then goes to determine whether you will give birth vaginally or whether you'll give birth via C-section. So we had a very good conversation about how I got here, what has happened, the operation. She was able to look at my notes to see, you know, what had happened. And she was one that said, you know, she's very pro vaginal birth, but she said sometimes you've just got to put your sensible head on and you've just got to look at it from a sense of, but we want you to come out with your life and we want baby as well to come out with life too. So she had recommended that I go for a C-section. I'd kind of had this in my head already, so when I have the open myomectomy, my consultant said it will be one of those things whereby you'll most probably have a C-section. So in my mind, I was already kind of ready for that. C-section versus open myomectomy is a complete walk in the park. Please understand that if you've gone through an open myomectomy, you will walk the C-section. I was told that by my specialist gynecologist because I was very, very scared. Like mentally, I was not ready to have this C-section. I could just think of my open myomectomy, how long it took me to heal, the amount of pain I was in, all of this stuff, and I was so scared. She said, Dawn, let me tell you something. If you've gone through an open myomectomy, you will walk the C-section. And she was correct, because literally I walked out of that hospital. I was in the hospital for one night only, and I walked out straight, and I felt so strong. People were at my house the day after to meet the baby. I was hosting it. Literally, the speed in which I've recovered from this C-section has been great. I have taken it, you know, as easy as possible, and I say as possible because you have a baby to look after, but I really homed in on what I had learnt from my open myomectomy. So things like get up and walk more, so everything's circulating, you don't have like blood clots and things like that, you feel much better. Like massaging, taking it more easy, eating well, that kind of thing as well. So for me, we could see from the fibroids that it definitely was them stopping me from getting pregnant. My consultant has said that where some of them were sitting, it was stopping implantation from occurring. And, you know, if we look at the history of me trying, it was never ever happening. I wasn't even getting a scare, if that makes sense. So all the kind of early pregnancy symptoms I was getting was relatable to the fibroids itself. But look at this, as soon as the fibroids were removed from me, thank God, and I'm so grateful, pregnancy happened, it was success, conception happened, and baby, as you can hear, is here now. So guys, it was a lot to go through, and with this, that's why I'm here, to advocate for other women, to share, to educate. I'm very open in terms of answering questions, but get along to my Instagram. I do have a TikTok as well, it's dawnheels. But yes, we're here. We are here. And my heart just, it feels very weird making this video. Very, very weird making this video. Because I had my faith, but it was one of those ones where it was like, will I ever come to update people with what has happened? Well, here I am. So everybody, yes, I don't even know what to say. That's what happens. Like my heart is just, it's just bursting. Like literally, it's just bursting. So yes, guys, a successful open myomectomy, 16 fibroids removed, one the size of a grapefruit, baby on the way, baby had, blessings. Thank you everyone so much, and I'll see you on my next video. Take care.